All right. Welcome back again. If you saw yesterday's episode, you know it was quite the event. There was 2 locations. There was a lost and found moment. There was foreshadowing, if you will. I'd like to welcome you back to the end of that incredible saga. Saga, multi-parts? I don't know. What we've got here today is a hole dozer. That's a 3-inch hole saw. We have the aforementioned steel plate. Is this overkill for a shock absorber mount? Probably, but the only other plate we have is 1/8 inch. I'd say between the hole dozer and our anchor lube, we should make pretty short work of cutting this piece of plate. Come on along. All right, that was an event, huh? What we've accomplished is boring through this steel. We got 1 bracket and 2 brackets set. Let's bring it over to the table and I'll show you the layout. All right, so this is what we were describing yesterday. We had this set up in this arrangement, and you see I took a bit more than the template showed, simply because I'm going to take a little bit off of here and a little bit off of here. We have a little less grab on the axle because we don't want to wrap it too much with that thing. And also, I'm going to change the bottom part here. So let's just make 2 of these. I'm going to let this, I'm actually going to bring this a little bit wider because I actually watched the video yesterday and I thought maybe that was a little bit too close. So let's just move this over just a wee bit, like that. And then we're going to make this part here square for the moment. The reason I'm thinking is because with the shock, we're going to want to come around the bottom of it. I want to double grab on this. So even though this episode won't have a lot of information, it should be a pretty good tech on how to make a shock mount. So you can see the actual shock we're using. We're going to want to come underneath and back over. And I have some other stuff to accomplish that. So I'm going to leave this up here big. And we'll just cut this off at a 45 for the moment. So yeah, I'm going to chop 2 of those with the grinder disc. Let me know if this camera starts to do the slide. Should be pretty interesting. Vibration might make it go. Let's find out. So whenever I'm making multiples, I stack them. A lot of times you'll see me stack them and bolt them together. This time we're just going to clamp them. So yeah, we're in here like such. That looks cool. Let's bring this, how do we do that? Yeah. Set this with this clamp. Set this with this clamp. I'm going to score it, and then I'll take this off and finish the job. well, if you're enjoying yourself so far, wait till you see this. Camera angle change. All right, so this is where we're at. This piece here, these are really substantial in their bulk. So I was going to consider some kind of gusset. I'm not sure. I may end up just drilling like a relief hole in here just to lighten the whole thing up. But I got the other shock absorber here. Let's put it here as if. So one thing is that the hardware, as it comes through, you have the wall of the shock, right? So the hardware has to be long enough to accommodate that. It's going to come out, and that's where I started thinking I'm going to come around with something. So if we have, you unbolt this. This is why I only did 1/2 yesterday. Testing. So can you dig it? You need some space in there. So I have these things, and that fits that. So if I was to say just use that bolt, this spacer, yeah, that's tons of room. I like that. That way, if the axle, the axle will articulate coming in and out of, say, a driveway, corner-wise. So we'll use these, and then we want to bring this down. Let's remember 3.5. Now that we have our paper figured out, we're going to make the hard measurements once more. And as I recall, from the bottom of the axle, we are looking at 3.5. That still holds true. So yeah, this bracket is much bigger than we need it. So let's just come in 3.5 mark. Center that. Right, I like that. And because the shock is going to be encased, we're going to take this straight edge, and we don't want it butting up against it. We want a little bit of room. So let's cut this off right here, like so. All right, I'm going to drill 2 holes. Let's double these. First, I'll just cut them off, and then we'll drill the holes because we're on the table right now. We got that locked. We've got our special template holder device. Yeah, I'm going to knock both of these right off and step over to the drill press. All right, so we've got this for our drill bit size. It's probably 1/2 inch. Let's go to our donor, or rather our donated drill bit set. Yeah, look at that. Fresh. There it is. That's the number. So I'll drill through 2 sizes. We'll do a pilot. I've had a number of people comment that this drill press is too fast for metal. And I got to agree. And there's an adjustment knob and a digital readout, but I can't get it to slow down anymore. It seems like it's at the limit of its slowdown on the pulleys. So I did speak with a fellow about a mill. It's gettable, but it's so heavy. I got to figure out how to move the darn thing. Then I could really tune this thing down so you wouldn't get all that squealing with the hole saw, etc. Metal cutting should be done reasonably slow. You don't want to heat it up. This might have been for woodworking. I don't know. It is a Woodward Fab drill press. Ooh. Yeah, with the drill bit on, speed seems appropriate. But the hole saw, it's going too fast. All right, we got our 2 holes set. Let's undo this. Step back and make the next part. I have 2 of these old shock mounts. I don't know what they're from, maybe a 4-link? I'm not sure, but they happen to fit this, which is awesome. So, thinking I can cut this off, bend this to a 90, and then we have that mount. Can you dig it? I think you can. Let's cut. In looking at this, it appears that this is too far away. So I think I'm going to put it in the vise. I don't know if you can see it. There's like a mark here where it was in the other tool. So they both have it. I'm going to put it in the vise at that point. Just try to bang that to a 90. Camera might shutter. Might be exciting. Let's find out. All right, I'm going to raise this up just a little bit. Well, do I need to? I don't know. So see, this is going to go into here like that. And yeah, it's quite a bit off. The length of this is perfect. But if you can see, that is off pretty big time. So I think I'm just going to bang that in a little bit, and then we're going to box one side of it. That'll give it the strength. Because, yeah, that'll work. I'm going to knock this. You can see I'm going to knock that gap closed. I think one more lump and we're good. Yep. Sweet. That looks good. Okay. So let's do the same to this one. So what we got now is this thing coming all the way around where it should be. But the hardware does not pass through. Look at that. So I think we're going to minimize this. That way we can get a nut on the backside. Because this does pass. See, I could do it like this. Plenty of weld, plenty of thread. But the shock is hitting, the body of the shock is hitting the plate. So maybe we're just going to put a couple washers. Everything else seems all right. I wonder if I have a longer bolt. Nope, those are the same. Wow, well I do have these with big standoffs. I think it's a different size completely. Yeah, I think we're just going to put some washers instead of these big slugs. I wonder what this one does. I'm going to try just cutting this off and using that piece. But we are making good use of all these parts. With all the stuff that I build, I try to minimize my trips from different tools. Say, stepping to the drill press so many times to do this. And now somewhere down the line, we'll have these neat little gussets. We'll go back in the bin. All right, so let's try this. We got our bolt. We got our spacer. We got our shock. We have our shock mount. You know, it'd help if I put this on the right side of the shock, wouldn't it? How about that? Yeah. There it is. Sweet. And enough room for our hardware. So, yeah, that's going to work. But I do feel like one more washer would help. Even if I have to put a thinner lock nut there. Let's try this. Just send that and that. So I'm trying to just make this join look as clean as possible. I wonder if I could put 2 nuts. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to do this just to get it started for the weld. And again, just like we did yesterday, got to make trips. Whether it's for the steel, for the hardware. It's like a lot of road time. All right, cool. That's that. Let's lock that down. Just a quick tighten. Pull over the welder and we'll set this. So, yeah. That's what we're getting. And I think we're going to box this for strength. Let me start by getting a weld on there. Got to make sure these are exact opposites, right? No, they're not. This one's got to go like this, and that's got to go like that. You want to pair exactly the opposite of each other. Always remember. Mostly saying that for me. Cool. I like it. I like it. Tighten that. We got that. All right, just to give this some structure, you know, this will want to bend pretty easily. So it's going to come in with a plate like that and cap it all off. There's plenty of room for that shock to move in there. So I think, yeah, we're going to set it like that. I'm going to flip it this way. Give it a trace. We're going to cut this out just like that. Make 2 of those. All right, you got 2 of those. Try to remember how this went on. Like that. Perfect. Yeah. So I'm going to weld this. Then I'm going to trim this all back and grind it. So let's get it. You can see this little mismatch through here, but I'm going to go in with the welder. I'm going to dress all that up and then grind it to fit. See how I just blended over the top? I have this little corner that's still out, and that's what I was saying. I'll just take the disc now, trim that back, and weld right through. I'm going to take it out of this fixture before it heats up the shock oil. So while I was building this, I figured some people are going to ask, does it bother you that it's not perfectly square at the bottom? Doesn't bother me. All right, so there's some stuff I'm going to clean up now with the cutting disc. See how this isn't matching here? Again, I'm just going to trim right through, and then I'm going to take this disc and just clean up this whole area and do a little more welding inside. All right, I'm happy with these two. They're twins. I think this is plenty strong enough. The only thing I'm going to do, because it's just so bulky looking, I'm going to cut this corner around here. I think I'm going to hole saw right through here. I wonder if that 3-inch hole saw would just give it a lighter feel, lighter look. Let's see. Oh, wow. That would weaken it considerably. Maybe a smaller one. One of those. Well, you could put 2 holes. Yeah, let's do this. Do that, but that doesn't leave a lot of strength. This is going to bend. I don't know. Let's take a vote. Should we leave it? I got an idea. Let's cut this at a 45 first on both ends. So I want this kind of like that. And then we want that much meat here. 45. That actually takes a lot of the bulk off. So maybe we'll just end up doing this. We'll radius this right through here. We'll cut that off. That'll be strong. That just takes some of the bulk out of that. And to hole saw it, it's going to be a big event. We want it to be strong. It's under the car. We don't want this shock coming off. So yeah, let's end it on this. All right, that's where we're at. We got 2 shock mounts created. I'm still going to get the upper bushings before I install that. They're super hot right now, but you can see, all in all, you know, they don't look so much as a fabricated part like you'd get from a kit, more of a sculpted thing. So yeah, not super bulky, but very strong. I thought they might be too bulky at first. So yeah, we are going to get under the car, head to the auto parts store now. So I'll probably just do a wrap up once they're installed. I'll raise and lower the air suspension. It's gonna be awesome. This self-filming thing is weird. I'm never looking at the camera. There it is. All right, see you next time. Peace.